Is Tico there? Has he even played this season?
No, not yet. No. Braden.
Tonight, I'm your commentator, Brandon Galgano, and with me tonight is Damir Kulash. Damir, two sides, as we said, coming off last week. A point for Kingston, a loss for South Melbourne, a heavy one at that. Both sides in desperate need of a win. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, must-win game for Kingston. I mean, they haven't had the strongest of starts given the fact that they're still winless and in the relegation zone. South Melbourne obviously picked up a couple of good victories, but bounced back down onto earth last week with that 4-0 drubbing against Avondale. They'll be looking to regenerate some pride in the jersey tonight, so I think it'll be a quietly, evenly contested game as we sit and pause for the minute silence.
Monday night football at the Grange, something which has become more than synonymous with the top flight of Victorian football. And again, a great bit of respect shown to the massacre in New Zealand last week. Rest in peace. And well, in more positive news, we are watching a game of football tonight. And as we mentioned earlier, it's 9th on the table in NPL Victoria against 13th. Two sides in desperate need of a win. A win for Kingston, the home side, would get them out of the relegation zone, whereas for South Melbourne, they can get themselves back in the top 6 with a result. It all lies on tonight. We'll go through the lineups for you quickly. In for the home side, in goals, number 20, Nate Cavaliere. At right back, number 13, Daniel Bennett. Number 2, Mullins. Number 19, the captain, Ryan Love. Number 22, Aidan Fatajic. In midfield, number 21, Junho Kim, and number 18, the Anthony Yancello, with Chris Irwin as the number 7 just in front. And the front 3, number 17, Alex Caniglia, number 14, Damien Yakonis, and number 10, Muad Zwed. On the bench, number 1, Steve Hatzikurdis, number 8, Keanu Moore, number 9, Cooper Lengrad, number 11, Ali Suleimani, and number 24, Erhan Yalaz for Kingston. Whilst for South Melbourne, some big selection calls made in the coaching dugout this week, and a few changes in that starting lineup. Number 1, Nikola Roganovic coming in. Number 2, Perry Lambropoulos keeps his spot at right back. But number 3, Christian Constantinidis returns to centre back with number 5, Jake Marshall, and number 11, the captain, Brad Norton on the left. In midfield, number 17, Ethan Gage, and number 18, Kostas Stratomitros in central midfield with number 10, Marcus Schroen just in front. In the front 3, number 12, Nick Cruceradis, number 7, Giuseppe Marafiotti, and number 9, Billy Constantinidis making his first start for the club. On the bench, number 23, Erhan Jashari, number 4, Luke Adams, number 8, Dean Bereveskos, number 20, Zach Bates, and number 45, Jerry Siriados. Well, Demir, some huge calls made by Kontangalakis, dropping Luke Adams out of the squad, and Jerry Siriados still doesn't get a start, and coming in Billy Constantinidis for his first start, and Christian Constantinidis as well at centre-back.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised to see Christian Constantinidis come into the side as centre-back. I would have put him as the starting right-back and kept Luke Adams in there. But obviously, Kontangalakis has a different opinion. And I guess with Billy Constantinidis, it wasn't too surprising to see him get a start. After all, George Howard hasn't had the best of starts to the campaign, and Constantinidis comes into the starting 11.
Well, we are underway here at the Grange. South Melbourne going from left to right in their traditional blue, and from right to left the home side, Kingston City in the red, as the long ball is pumped forward towards Irwin there on the left, who just cuts back inside to Zved, gets it into Yakonis, who just cuts in onto his right, and Kingston certainly looking to start off the more positive here. Of course, Schroner with a bit of an air swing there, and he gets it across out to the right to Caniglia, who fires a shot on goal but wide. And well, again, you can just see here Kingston coming out with some real ferocity. And while Chris Irwin already getting the ball in high areas, but you can just see, and we saw it last week against Oakley, they did start off really strongly, maybe died off towards the end in that game, and Oakley, of course, scoring the equaliser late through Diamanchi. Nick Tolios would have been devastated with that because they actually played quite well, especially in the first half.
Yeah, it would have been quite deflating for Kingston given the fact that they had the better of much of the game, and Oakley never really looked like scoring up until that chance for Diamanche, which he took quite well. So it's deflating for them to be, 5 games into the season and still without a victory, but they'll be looking to change that tonight.
Well, the ball thrown in there towards Constantinidis, who looked to get himself on it early, but a bit of a battle in midfield, and Schroen just had his arm raised there, so it will be a free kick there for Kingston. As you can just see here, both of these sides, as we said, with difficult starts across the board. Of course, much expectation around South Melbourne. Every year you go into the NPL season, and this year was no different despite the catalogue of issues with the 2018 campaign, with coach Sasha Coleman leaving halfway through the season and Kontangalakis coming in the second half of the year. Cavaliere with a long and high ball forward. Lambropoulos, who rather fortunate to keep his spot in the starting lineup after last week, where Stefan Zinni, a former South Melbourne man, gave him an absolute runaround for Avondale. As we just see here, Fatajic on it at left back, another former South Melbourne player. Gets it in early to Yakonis, who finds Wed. Back to Yakonis with a good little nutmeg there on Gage, but South Melbourne have numbers behind the ball, and Gage just looks up. Konstantinidis presenting well and holding the ball up now. Still Konstantinidis. Wins himself a throw. Just see there, he's trying to drop into the space and get that ball under control, and it's maybe something South have been missing, a more traditional number 9. Of course, playing with the likes of Marafiotti as a higher up the ground, and George Howard not even on the bench tonight as well. So something else which, again, comes as a surprise is now they do come forward here. And it is Marafiotti who does beat the initial challenge there, and he's still going on the ball, Marafiotti, a really positive run, and in the end he does win a free kick. And that's what he can do, Marafiotti, especially when he's driving at that fullback, and a good foul here and a good chance for South.
Yeah, obviously Giuseppe Marafiotti came into South Melbourne midway through last campaign, returned to the club having previously been a 20s player there, and I thought he did quite well. I still think he needs to improve his shot conversion. I think he missed a lot of good chances last year, particularly in that Heidelberg game, but he's looking to really stake his claim as one of the best young forwards in the comp this season.
Ball was lipped initially. It comes out to the edge of the box in a rather hopeful swing there, but well over the bar from Jake Marshall, finding himself in a position that he's not accustomed to in the attacking half of the ground, and it will be a goal kick for Kingston. And as we said, it will be really telling to see now Konstantinidis, of course, joining with a really large pedigree coming across from Greece, and has had a few appearances off the bench where he probably hasn't really had enough time to really insert himself into a game, but tonight is his chance. And of course, with Milos Lujic gone out of the club, being such a staple number 9 over the last few years, he'll certainly be someone they'll be looking to for goals this season.
Yeah, and you've got to remember, before Lujic came to South Melbourne, they did probably struggle to really stamp down a really good number 9. I know Trent Rickson was there, but he was unable to replicate the form that he had at Northcote City, as well as a number of other players. If we go back all the way to the likes of Ricky Diaco, Nathan Caldwell, and so on. But also a big blow for Kingston tonight is the loss of Faisal Saksada in defence. They do have Ryan Love, so it's good to see him return back into the starting 11 after spending a better part of the last 2 years on the injury sidelines.
Again, I do remember those times, of course, was actually in the senior squad at that period with Trent Mixon was there, and unfortunate with a few injuries, but was certainly a top-class footballer. And again, the likes of Jesse Krenkovic as well had their times there. But again, now it is a new era for South Melbourne. In the meantime, it is Muad Zwed on the ball here out on the left, who just cuts inside and looks for the run there of Kim, but just holds the ball up and goes inside to Yancello. Of course, did spend a few years in the youth system at South Melbourne before moving out and playing at a few different clubs. Played at Moreland City with him for a few seasons as well, before coming across to Kingston in 2017, and after a few injuries has really asserted himself in that starting lineup. And now it is Marafiotti again looking to gallop away, but a good challenge there from Bennett. Now the ball comes inside, and it'll be Irwin looking to drive forward here through midfield, and just cuts out onto his right, and Bennett there to Caniglia, who is onside, and now out in that pocket on the right, tries to get the ball into the box, but was well marshalled out, and in the end, it is going to be cleared away. And somehow the ball has still stayed in play during that passage. And now it is Yancello who does well to drive forward on this right-hand side. Gets it into the middle, and a strike just deflected and into the arms of Roganovic. And he'll now look to pump this ball forward quickly and look for the runner, Krusaratis. It's a good ball over the top, but Fahadic just gets across to head that ball clear. And again, you can just see the danger with Kingston, the likes of Caniglia, Irwin, Yancello, all very good at driving at their man. If they're given space tonight in a one-on-one situation, you can definitely see them punishing South Melbourne.
Yeah, definitely. And one man that will love a goal more than most would be Moad Zwed. Of course, he's got his second consecutive start after spending the entirety of 2018 out injured through an ACL injury as Caniglia looks to play one of his teammates.
And the ball just cleared away. And it's interesting with Moad Zwed because he came and started off really well here at Kingston a few years ago and, of course, had that ACL injury last year. In the meantime, got himself into the E-League and was playing on PlayStation at a very high level. But, again, just unfortunate to miss out on the whole campaign last year, but certainly a welcome addition back into the side as now the ball falls in here to Kim, who looks up to find Yakonis in the box, and he just gets a shot away! Oh, and it's into the bottom corner! A fantastic finish from Damien Yakonis. And Kingston City lead here against South Melbourne. And one of their more experienced players, Damien Yakonis, getting just that little bit of room in the box. He opened his body up, and a fantastic finish into the bottom corner to make it 1-0.
Yeah, well, if there's one Kingston attacker you don't want to give any bit of space to, it's Damien Yakonis, and he's punished South Melbourne there for some slack marking. An expert finish from Yakonis, who gets his second of the season.
Well, you talk about wanting to get off to a fast start, and Kingston have certainly done that. And South Melbourne, well, they're up against it again here. They conceded an early one last week against Avondale, and it ended up being a 4-0 defeat. And now again here, finding themselves on the back foot. And now the long ball played forward towards Constantinides. He tries to get it down to Schrone, but again, it's Ved on the ball here, who under some pressure there from Lambropoulos. The ball clipped over the top. Zved there. Lambropoulos just looking to hold him up. Zved just turning his fullback and getting the better of him as well. And now a chance to potentially cross. Lambropoulos just got himself into a position to make the challenge. And in the end, it is going to be a corner kick. And, well, we said it. Just those balls from wide areas. Again, it was that time was actually Kim who played Yakonis through from a central position. And really, if you're South Melbourne's back four, you'd be dreading the fact that they've given him so much space inside the area.
Yeah, it's been a blistering start from Kingston, and they'd be looking to the likes of Yakonis, Caniglia and Zwed to really trouble the South Melbourne defence, because they're all fast players that can take their man on.
Ball whipped in towards the back post. It's a dangerous delivery as well, and the ball just cleared away. And now it's Cruceratis, who, battling with a few Kingston players, somehow gets the ball away, but only as far as Love, who's got plenty of time here at centre-back. And he looks up and looks for the diagonal, but Kim was coming back from an offside position, didn't bother turning his body to run for it, and in the end it does go out for a throw. And, well, you've got to say that Kingston could not have asked for a better start. We mentioned it last week that they started off really strongly, got the early goal against Oakley. It meant they were in front. But it's just a matter of how long can they maintain it. And the second period is certainly going to be something where they'll want to make this dominance pay early on.
Yeah, definitely. One of the problems with last week's performance was that they just struggled to put the game away from Oakley's reach, and ultimately in the end they were punished. I must say it's a great crowd here tonight. We have been told that parking is full and that the column of cars really extends all the way to the McDonald's on Westfield Road. So it's good to see Monday Night Football attracting big numbers, not only on the ground here, but also on Facebook and NPL Victoria YouTube channel.
Well, a strong tackle there on Lambropoulos, who stayed down, and there's no foul given, so Irwin will look to use his pace. Constantinides tracking all the way back, the big number 9. Irwin cuts it onto his right and then gets the ball back into Zved, who's done really well to beat a few players there, and he gets the ball into the box, but well defended. And Perry Lambropoulos has stayed down here right on the halfway line. It just seems like he might be struggling to keep himself or get himself back up on his feet here. And it's certainly not what South Melbourne would be needing, an early change. Of course, they do have Luke Adams, who, as we mentioned earlier, was dropped out of the starting lineup tonight. So they do have a central defender straight in place. And they do have Christian Constantinides there, who can switch across as well to right back. But again, it's just not something they need. Perry Lambropoulos, who has started every game so far this season.
I must say I was a bit surprised to see him retain his starting spot, given the fact that in last week's 4-0 defeat to Avondale, I thought Stefan Zinni took him to the cleaners.
Yeah, Steph certainly did give him a run around, and he was certainly happy about it as well. Started off the season absolutely on fire, Stefan Zinni there at Avondale, along with his whole team. And again, for a former South Melbourne man who had a really good, difficult time here when he came back to South and probably didn't get the game time he deserved after getting back from the West Sydney Wanderers, and now certainly showing his full range of ability, and he did that last week. And again here, you'd be thinking that potentially Lambropoulos, it does look like he is gingerly getting himself ready to go. But it will be Zved again to whip this ball into the box, and he does, high and in towards the back post, and again headed away. There will be another corner as Lambropoulos does return to the field. As you do, we did mention the crowd before, but it is fantastic numbers here, and it has been for the last few weeks. Every game on a Monday night, of course, the weather doesn't hurt the situation as well. Monday night football, summer, autumn temperatures, and it certainly is a nice night. You see the whole Victorian football community really coming out here to support, a really big club in Kingston in the last few years, especially establishing themselves in the NPL and playing some really good football.
Well, that's one of the positives of unique fixturing, with Kingston now being the only team in top flight to play on Monday nights. Good
ball into the box and headed clear. Schrone does flick it on. Now South Melbourne with the chance for a quick counter. If Kousaratis can get away from his man, but a strong challenge there at the back from Bennett. High up and under clearance, and dangerous bounce of it there. And Schrone just using his body, but under pressure there from Caniglia. Good little combination there with his fullback in Norton, and then the ball played out wide to Marafiotti. So it was Gage who was initially, and that's Marcus Schrone there who's played the ball forward. And now it's Marafiotti. He'll look to cut in on his left, and he does, and he gets a strike on goal. It was low, but Cavaliere saw that all the way and easily held. And again, we mentioned it earlier. You mentioned it yourself, Demir, that we'll see Marafiotti and Kousaratis both rotate from both of those wings. And you just see both of them very different types of players when they're on their opposite sides. But that ability to cut in there is certainly something which Marafiotti would be dangerous on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've spoken a lot about how potent Kingston's attack is and the problems that they might cause the South defence, but look at those two players to particularly cause Kingston's defence headaches over the course of the 90. Marafiotti and Kousaratis, both quick, both can take a man on, and both have a good shot on them. So it'll be interesting to see if they can come up with a good performance tonight, because I think they really need a big one if South are to get anything out of this game, given the fact that they're already behind.
Christian Constantine's giving that one away in a dangerous area, and now it's a chance potentially to stream forward there from Bennett, and the ball does come out wide, and there is an opportunity potentially here for Iaconis. He just couldn't quite cut the ball back across. Caniglia, his touch gets quite a fair bit away from him, but Chris Irwin is there, and now it is again an opportunity for Kingston on the edge of the box, and the shot on goal just rolls into the arms of Roganovic, who just gives himself and his team a bit of time to get themselves forward. And now just rolls it out short there to Constantinidis. He goes across to his captain in Brad Norton. Constantinidis, Billy. Now Norton again with the driving run on this left-hand side. We're so accustomed to seeing him do over the years, and a good saving challenge there at the back from Kingston City's Anthony Ancello. And it will be a throw in an advanced position. Interesting to see tonight, of course, two very attacking-minded sides, and the transitional aspect of this game tonight will be really important. Both teams can be very dangerous on the counter-attack with the likes we've mentioned, Kousaratis and Marafiotti on one side and Zved and Caniglia on the other. Certainly players, if you get them one-on-one with their fullback, as we said earlier, and we've already seen it so far tonight, all four of them really looking to go at their players and try and beat their man, getting balls into the box.
Yeah, and we've spoken a lot about both attacks and also the defences, but I think also the midfield battle will be quite interesting tonight, given the fact that over the first 4 rounds of the season, I've felt that Kingston's midfield has been their weakness. They haven't been able to stamp enough of an authority on games, and South Melbourne themselves, it's a bit of a different midfield this year, with a lot of players, of course, departing over the summer. You know, they've brought in Ethan Gage and Kostas Sadamitros as their 2 visa players who have had prior experience at Bentley and Oakley, respectively, and also Dean Beraveskos, who's on the bench tonight from the Bonnyrigg White Eagles. So they've got big shoes to fill.
Certainly is a lot of squad competition in there. And again, we're just getting that balance right, which is the most important thing, but we just haven't really seen it from South Melbourne so far this season, and that's something which I guess will be frustrating, considering there is a fair bit of talent in there. The pressure will only start to build on Contangalakis as this continues to go, of course, with success always expected at a club like South, and something which, again, in such a competitive league we've seen this season already over the last few weeks, really is no room for error. As that ball's played forward on to left now. Kousaratis is offside just. Certainly didn't look far away there. But the linesman didn't move a muscle and raised his flag as soon as Kousaratis got himself near the ball.
Yeah, confident call from the linesman, and I think Chris Zaratis was just a tad offside there. Remember, we are live and interactive tonight, so keep the comments flooding in. Give us a like, give us a share, get those viewing figures up. Appreciate the positive feedback as well. And yeah, hopefully you're enjoying the game tonight.
Certainly leading the way, Victorian football this year. Coverage of every single top-flight NPL game and 2 NPL 2 fixtures as well a week. It is absolutely fantastic for football in this country and in this state. And the quality this year has certainly not let anyone down. And some of those top sides really making strides early. And the fact that we're even talking about the likes of South Melbourne and Kingston near the bottom of the table with the quality that both these teams do possess is a testament to the quality of the league itself. Again, now the ball is fed back to Cavaliere. Shrone just closing down there. Cavaliere, you'd like to say, purposely threaded the pass through to Irwin. Now the second ball falls to Yancello, who's been quite busy in midfield, looking to get himself on it and move across. Turns inside to Irwin. As we said, 2 South Melbourne juniors there combining. Now Lambropoulos caught out there, and that time just hoofs the ball clear for Hadjic. Gets it forward and played the ball off the arm of Marafiotti, so that will be a free kick. And again, we can just see the game, the pace of the game maybe hit a little bit of a lull now. So it certainly was a very fast start from both these sides. And Kingston, as we said, they've certainly come out to play and press really high up the ground. As that long ball goes over the top, but easy for Norton to deal with, and he goes back to Reganovic.
Yeah, I must say, Aydin Fedahagic has been playing at left back for South Melbourne, for Kingston over the course of the last few weeks, and he's normally centre back, and I think that he's done quite well. Obviously, it helps being a left footer, but for such a big body to be competing with a lot of fast wide forwards, I think he's done quite well in the role, and it's helped for Nick Tolios because Nathan Tidmarsh has been a big loss.
And the ball in there, just over towards the back post, and again out for a goal kick. And well, we've seen the distribution of Nikola Reganovic tonight, and that chance did start from a long ball over the top, but it's something which they are looking to utilise. Of course, Reganovic seemingly just can't get himself to retire. He's tried a few times from Victorian football over the last few years, and he's been right back into it and playing some quite impressive football. One of the staple names in this state in the goalkeeping department. Again, his experience will be vital this season, of course, with a side that hasn't gotten results their way so far. But now it's Verdu, looks up for the run of Iaconis, but Marshall getting across and covering his man well. And another interesting point was the likes of Alistair Bray, who was on the bench last week, not so this week. Of course, someone who, at his peak, certainly one of the best goalkeepers this state has produced, and so unfortunate with injuries. But it will be interesting to see if he can find himself a way back into this lineup as the throw in towards Iaconis. He tried to get himself a half volley, but followed through in the end there on, I think it was Konstantinidis there, and in the end it's going to be a free kick.
I think from the intel that we received, I think Bray's had some struggles with his wrist in recent weeks, so that could be why he's not on the team sheet tonight. It'll be quite interesting to see how they manage bringing him back into the side because, you know, they've really got 2 first-choice keepers in Roganovic and Bray, who at various times have been the league's benchmarks when it comes to goalkeepers. I'm going to make an early prediction, but if someone like Chris Taylor is going to be around at Oakley Cannons for the remainder of the season, I can see Nikola Roganovic moving to Oakley halfway through the campaign.
And that's a good ball over the top, and in the end, Iaconis was unfortunate to be offside. It was very close. The linesman does raise his flag, so it's going to be a quick distribution out to the left. And again, South Melbourne really looking to hit the channels early so far tonight. High balls over the top and looking to utilise the pace of Cruceratis, but that time again, just unable to get on the end of it as we're into the 20th minute here. And it is 1-0 to Kingston City. Damien Iaconis, the goal scorer. A great finish from the edge of the box and a fantastic start for the home side. As we said, still searching for their first win of the season. This win would lift them out of the relegation zone, although it is very early to be even talking about relegation. But again, would be surely a really important result. Now, great little exchange there from South Melbourne, but ball over the top, cleared away. And there will be a throw here, and you can just see slowly South Melbourne starting to get themselves into the game. Weren't really able to hold possession in that first 10 to 15 minutes. But now it is Cruceratus out on the left with a good delivery into the box, but Cavaliere with a confident claim of the ball, and he throws it out to Zved here, who gets himself around Lambropoulos now. If he can keep this ball alive, it would be dangerous, but he just couldn't quite, and it will be a throw-in here for South Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm sure Nick Tolios would have targeted that coming into the game, really using the likes of Zwed and Kniglia to trouble Lambropoulos and Norden on the wings. I think Norden, although always Mr. Reliable for South Melbourne, hasn't been at his best form early on, and I think much like the rest of the South Melbourne squad, I think that they've been good in patches, but overall haven't had the consistency to keep it up and maintain positive results.
The ball played out wide there, and Caniglia again going at his man and just looking for the run of Irwin out on his right. He can cut in onto his left, or he can go himself to that byline, which he does, and try to clip the ball into the middle, and it will be a corner kick despite the cries from the South Melbourne players here. So another opportunity here for Kingston. Again, just so dangerous when they're getting that ball out wide, and another set piece opportunity here.
Yeah, I mean, one player that we mentioned, of course, won't be, is not playing tonight, is Faisal Saksada, who's always a threat at set pieces, but I'm wondering if the likes of Feta Hugic and Ryan Love can add some tall timber to this set piece opportunity for Kingston.
So another set piece here. They've been dangerous on them so far tonight. That one doesn't clear the first man, but the ball headed back into the box, and a lack of communication there at the back, and you can just see the frustrations again from the South Melbourne defenders and their goalkeeper. So it will be another corner. And Zved will get himself across to take this potentially. Now, the referee is going in to have a chat to Brad Norton. Don't think it's anything serious though, so Kingston will take their time out here. It looks like Caniglia this time is going to be on set piece duties. So it is going to be a corner kick here for Kingston. As we said, another opportunity here to get this ball into the area. Plenty of numbers forward in the box. Goes short here to Kim. Oh, slips Caniglia in well there, and a good covering challenge in the nick of time from Billy Konstantinidis. And now a chance here for Cruceratus to use his pace, but a great covering challenge there from Zved. And now he'll look to get forward. He hasn't got many options left or right, so he's just going to go himself and try and get himself to the byline, and he's done quite well there to weave himself in between two or three players, but in the end, South Melbourne back in numbers, as we see the number 9, Billy Konstantinidis, all the way back to clear that ball away. Yeah,
we often hear about the strikers' tackle being talked in a negative sense when they are carrying out defensive duties, but I thought Billy Konstantinidis did very well there to pulled the ball away from danger and diverted away from the path of Muad Zwed. We have had a correction in the comment section from Matthew Jenkins, who is giving us the correct pronunciation of the Kingston goalkeeper. It's Nate Cavalieri.
Cavalieri. I think we were pretty close on that earlier, but thank you. As we said, keep the comments flowing. Certainly has been fantastic being able to engage with the wider Victorian community, footballing community rather, as Roganovic has the ball, and now out to his centre back in Christian Konstantinidis, and Ethan Gage there just under some pressure, so plays the ball off Caniglia, and he'll win himself a throw. And one thing you have seen tonight is, in terms of the big number 9, Billy Konstantinidis, is not being afraid to drop himself really deep and get himself on the ball and work hard defensively as well. And you'd say it's a positive thing, but it also means that when South are winning the ball, they're quite isolated when they're getting the ball forwards, because there aren't really numbers up there. They're defending in numbers, but as soon as they're winning it, there's not really much in terms of going forward with it.
But I think he has to, because want the likes of Cruceratus and Marafiotti further up the pitch, not doing defensive duties and really getting the ball to them, and for them to be using the speed to launch attacks forward. And maybe then if Konstantinidis and the likes of Schroen can get themselves into the box, I think that's definitely a threatening attacking situation for South Melbourne.
Well, this is certainly one of those now. So Marcus Schroen standing over the set piece, and he whips it in towards the back post. It's a good delivery, to be fair, and the header from Christian Konstantinidis there at the back stick, it looked like, or rather Billy, but it doesn't matter which Konstantinidis it was. In the end, the ball has gone over and out for a goal kick, as Cavalieri will We'll put this ball down, and I'm sure I haven't even gotten that right just yet. Has gotten it down and then plays the ball short, so it's now out to Love, who receives, goes back to his goalkeeper. Nice little wall pass there with Love again. He's got a bit of time on this one here. And now he plays the ball high and long forward over towards Ved, but that ball goes out for a throw. And as we said, both of these sides haven't been afraid to hit the ball into the channels early and try and find the run of all their wingers now. Yakonis cuts onto his right and has a strike on goal, but unlike with the opener, that time wasn't able to find the bottom corner, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, take two by Iaconis, but as we always know, the sequel isn't as good as the original there. Overall, I think South have settled into the game quite well since conceding and really been under a lot of attacking pressure early on, but Kingston are attempting to launch another attack here.
Irwin just couldn't quite find his man there with the pass, and now it's a chance for Marifiotti, who cuts in onto his left, and again, just very deep. If you see South Melbourne when they're winning the ball, haven't really got options ahead of it, and it's really hurting their ability to transition quickly. As you can see now, Marifiotti on it and goes all the way back to Christian Konstantinidis, who's marshalled well there by Iaconis, but they do get themselves out here through Roganovic, and now it's Jake Marshall who finds Ethan Gage, but again, closely monitored by Chris Irwin. You can see here Kingston defensively electing to go man on man, and it's really siphoning the options that South Melbourne have when they're trying to get this ball forward. You can just see here when Jake Marshall is playing, and now Ethan Gage forced into a forward pass, and that's a good one there to Schrone. So Gage rather. Now it's Schrone. Good ball through. Billy Konstantinidis is onside. He gets onto his right. Konstantinidis! And he puts the ball wide. Well, that was certainly the best chance of the game for South Melbourne. And Billy Konstantinidis, he just found that bit of room and really should have put that in the back of the net. A great save from Cavalieri in the end. Yeah,
tremendous save from the Novocastrian to divert that ball away for a corner kick. Massive opportunity for South Melbourne, their best of the night, and Billy Konstantinidis came so close to grabbing his maiden goal for South Melbourne.
So it is a corner kick here. Ball whipped in towards the back post. It's a great delivery, and again denied by the goalkeeper. Well, South Melbourne starting to ask some real questions there. And it was Konstantinidis, Christian that time, not Billy, who got himself up at the back post. But again, well denied by the goalkeeper, who got himself across and made himself big. So now will be another corner kick, and Marcus Schrone standing over it. Whips it in towards the near post this time. Now cries for a handball. Referee had a look at it but didn't give it. And now 50-50 here, and Lampropoulos has backed himself out of that one there, and Caniglia now can get himself forward. Holds on to it and then goes, well, tried to go back to his fullback. And, well, how telling is that chance going to be? And in a game like this, especially with the limited chances South have had so far, was a really good penetrating pass, that one from Ethan Gage to find him. And he really should have made them pay there. Billy Konstantinidis. There's now Iaconis on the ball in the corner. Keeps it alive well, finds the run of Kim, who cuts onto his left as Kim and has a strike himself, but not threatening Roganovic's goal. It's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, and the positive thing for South Melbourne with that last attacking move was that it was such a well-worked move, so they'll be definitely looking to carve up Kingston in the same manner as the game goes on. But as you've said, you really have to take your opportunities. I mean, we've seen that across the first 5 weeks of the NPL is that sometimes it's not the team that creates the most opportunities that wins, but rather the team that actually converts their chances and is actually got an inferior shot count at the end. So if you're either one of these two teams, you've got to be prolific in front of the goals to actually stand a good chance of winning the game. I know it sounds a bit like Captain Obvious there, but it's true.
Well played forward there. Marifiotti with a great first touch to get it down, and a great change of direction as well. He wins himself a free kick off Caniglia. So again, it will be a free kick here for South Melbourne. We've now played 30 minutes here in this one, and well, at the moment it is Kingston City leading by a goal. Damien Iaconis with the strike to give the home side the advantage, but South Melbourne have had a few chances of their own. Now that's a poor distribution there, and it could be an opportunity for Iaconis on a second, but that is a fantastic save from Nikola Roganovic. And well, a giveaway you're not used to seeing there at the back from South Melbourne, and Well, it could have been absolute disaster. They conceded that, but it's given away again, and a chance here for Caniglia this time to get the ball into the box, but Norton gets across and makes the block. Well, we spoke about Nikola Roganovic and his experience earlier, and that save there, absolutely fantastic positioning from the goalkeeper. Again, made himself big and reacted to the one-on-one situation there perfectly.
Yeah, Roganovic has bailed out his team in that instance there, and it was really a lazy pass back that presented Iokonis the opportunity.
Well, another giveaway there. Falls to Irwin. South Melbourne really struggling to clear their lines at the minute. Now it's for Hadžić. Gets it inside towards Zved. His ball set Irwin a task. He did get there in the end, although the assistant referee on this outer side has given that as a throw. So Lambropoulos takes it quickly. Marshall now, back to Lambropoulos. Looks up long towards Konstantinidis, who gets himself a flick on, but absolutely no one there around him. So now it's a chance for Mullins to come forward on the ball. But didn't have any options, and under the pressure from the South Melbourne number 9 is elected to just play the ball into space there, and South Melbourne recover possession. Now look to come through midfield with it. Shrone bounces the ball back into Stratomitros, who plays a good little wall pass off Konstantinidis, dropping deep, and then Norton with the ball over the top. Again, given away though by South Melbourne, and an opportunity here for Yancello. Gets it out wide here towards Irwin, and now Zved. One-on-one with Lambropoulos here, and goes around his man again. Now played in centrally to Kim, who finds Zved here, who under the pressure there from Cruceradis, who's backtracking, wins the ball back, and now Lambropoulos again electing just for a long and high ball there. Given away, Yancello with the clearance. Marshall underneath it. Shrone flicking on. Quite an ugly game of football at the moment for Hadžić. Looks up himself and just pumps it into the channel. And now it's Iokonis who gets it down under some pressure there from Marshall. And in the end has won his team a throw. And Zved will just take his time on this one. Now getting the ball again. He's brought down, and the free kick against Ethan Gage there that time. And another set-piece opportunity here for Kingston.
Yeah, and we've already had Matthew Jenkins played a part of Lucy Zelic tonight, so sorry to do it again, Brandon, but I'm going to have to correct you on the pronunciation of it's Aydin Fetahagic.
As we said, continue those rolling on. Set piece opportunity here for Kim. Pretty sure I've got that one right. Chance to whip the ball in towards the back post. A decent delivery. Now out all the way out to the back there. Kingston just holding it up in the corner. He's done quite well that time to whip the ball into the box, and Kim was just hoping that one might just flick over the head of Cruceradis, but again given away by South Melbourne. And that time Lambropoulos gets across. A half-hearted and rather hopeful shout there for a South Melbourne throw. In the end, it is a Kingston City ball.
Fair play to you, Brandon. I think overall your pronunciations have been quality. Just the Balkan ones that I guess a lot of people struggle with, but you're doing really well with the Italian ones.
The Italian and Greek ones, we should be half sorted, or at least we'd hope to be. Otherwise, I'll be copping a flogging when I go back home. So now the chance to get forward here, and ball played into the corner, but happy to get across as Mullins. He gets a little bit of a shove just for some friendly physical contact there from Cruceradis, but it will be the goalkeeper's ball, and Cavaliere will look to get the ball down and take that goal kick. Last 10 or so minutes of this opening period to come. Kingston City still in the lead, and you'd say in the ascendancy at the minute. As we said from last week and against Oakley, having a very dominant and powerful first half, you need to make sure you make the opposition side accountable. And that's something where South Melbourne haven't been made to pay just yet. And they had a chance themselves to, of course, equalise it. As we said, Billy Konstantinidis is still looking for his first South Melbourne goal. Will be disappointed that he hadn't taken that one. Now it's a chance here out wide, an opportunity to whip the ball into the box from a wide position. It does fall all the way through, out to the edge of the box now. Cries for a handball. have been given there against Iaconis, and it will be a South Melbourne free kick.
Now, I was just complimenting you on your Italian pronunciations, Brandon, but we do have a comment coming in from Alex Cornelia's mum, who has let us know that the G in Cornelia is silent.
Zved coming forward. I'm not going to mention that one as we get forward here. Zved getting into the left-hand side of the box now. A chance to whip into the back post, but some really good defending again that time. And Muad Zved, who's been certainly dangerous, and Perry Lambropoulos maybe getting a few nightmares a la Stefanzini last week. Had some wide wingers running at him because he's been given a bit of a task again tonight. Now it's Caniclia here on this right-hand side. Iaconis on the ball into the box, blocked there by Gage, and it will be a corner kick. And while Kingston really looking to go for the jugular here at the end of this first half. And South Melbourne at the moment, you'd say, rather just holding on at the minute.
Yeah, again, it's after getting themselves back into the game quite well. I think the last 5 or so minutes, South Melbourne have really let themselves down, and I think they'll be quite lucky to go into the halftime break only 1-0 down, because I think Kingston, apart from that one Constantinides opportunity and a resulting corner kick, I don't think that they've had too much of the attacking chances.
Ball whipped in again towards the back post, and Hadžić there that time getting up, not quite able to win it, and Zved getting across and winning the ball. Just not able to keep it alive, so it will be a South Melbourne throw, and Lambropoulos is told to go back to where the ball left the field of play. So he gives it into Ethan Gage, and now South Melbourne, again, haven't had much of the ball or time on it in midfield, but they'll be looking to try and at least get some sort of territory in possession here. Stratomitros dropping in and going across to Constantinides. Hasn't really got much in front of the ball, so again, they're forced to go all the way back. And you just see Kingston, they are stepping up and pressing, but they're pressing effectively, and they're just not allowing South to play through the middle of the ground. And that's where they're really struggling to penetrate at the moment. You just see some really good midfield rotations in terms of their press there. Chris Irwin stepping up to his man. They're man-on-man all over the park, and it's just making it really difficult to break the lines at the moment. Marshall looking to play forwards now, and Constantinides gets it down. He has Norton out on the left-hand side if they can look towards him, but Yancello does get across, and in the end it is cleared away. And Kingston, you can just see, happy to concede a little bit of possession at the minute and just allow South to just keep it in their half, not really looking to penetrate at the moment. Now it's Stratomitros, who has Marafiotti on and can potentially look to turn here. He's got Norton way out wide on the left, who's really high, but again, now it's Schrone twisting and turning, looking to play feet, but that time doesn't find anyone, and the ball goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, we are live and interactive tonight, so keep your comments coming in. We've got one from Mark saying, good to see that Nick Tolios does not have the disco pants on this evening. Of course, Tolios, one of the more fashionable coaches in the league. Dean Manair coming in with wanting a goodbye shout-out to referee Daniel Isaac, who has been accepted into medicine at a university in Queensland, so you'll be pleased to hear that he won't be refereeing any games in Victorian football anymore. Only joking, Daniel. We still know you're one of the best young referees in Victoria. Come on, Hellas from Santino. And, of course, a few comments from Tito and Mick on the pronunciations.
Well, if there is a referee he's better than, it's James Malloy, who I've seen filtering through these comments here over the last few minutes. Fancies himself as a gaffer as well. He took England in the All Nations Cup, so not quite sure where his allegiances do lie, but I think anyone that's been a manager knows you can't go from being a manager to a referee, even though you might believe that you know more than every single official there is. Now that ball over the top is good, and it is Lambropoulos on the right-hand side who whips the ball into the area, but good defending there from Love. And again, the delivery was poor. And a cute little shout-out there to James Malloy. He does have some great banter there on the field, as that ball goes out for a goal kick. And, well, we can just see now, as we enter the last 5 minutes of play, South Melbourne more or less have started to give themselves a bit more of some territorial advantage, but just that final ball is lacking at the moment.
Yeah, very much so. And Kingston's defensive performance has been outstanding so far. I think Ryan Love, you wouldn't know the fact that he is playing he's starting his first senior NPL Victoria fixture in almost a year, given the injury turmoil that he's had over the last year or so. Of course, Nick Tolios didn't have a lot of player turnover at Kingston City over the summer. A lot of players that in the squad tonight, the likes of Chris Irwin, Muad Zwed, Ryan Love, as mentioned, spent a lot of time under injury sidelines last year. Simo Jovanovic, another one who's not on the team tonight. All felt like new signings, really, and it's only Kim Etheridge, two returning players, who were their only two new signings.
So it will be a free kick here. Well, I'm seeing some comments filtering through, and Demon Air, he's doing more on the ground here than probably his Bo Morris coaches are saying to him at training. And I'm sure they wouldn't be happy about him requesting me to sign him down at Hampton and East Brighton if we do win our State League 4 championship this year. I'm not even going to mention anything about that as we get ourselves going again forward. Lambropoulos up high, and Zved judged to have fouled him, maybe rather harshly. So it is going to be a free kick, and South Melbourne again look to get this ball forward, and Konstantinidis chesting it down to Lambropoulos. Good little combination there with Marafiotti, but that time the ball certainly didn't stick to his boot, and it's gone out for a throw in there. Flicked on initially. Now Jake Marshall just getting himself back into the corner, and he clips the ball high and long forward. Konstantinidis just caught underneath at that time. Zved just tried to get himself around Lambropoulos there, but wasn't able to. So it will be a throw-in.
How did he go in the E-League this week, Moadzwed? Because I know that he fancies himself as one of the best FIFA players in the country. And, of course, he is representing Mel Victory, of course, the biggest club in the country. So I assume the expectations are this year that he'll take the title.
I'm not quite sure, but one of my good mates in Peter Cezanis, who has represented Australia at the official FIFA Pro World Championships, would have something to say about that. Now the ball into the box, and that one blocked. Of course, Cezanis has made the switch across to Melbourne City this year in the E-League. And I will say that I have beaten Peter at FIFA before, so if there is anyone looking for a new FIFA player, give me some coins on Ultimate Team and I can compete with all of those 12-year-olds with the likes of Zola and Pele. But anyway, ball whipped into the middle. It's a dangerous one as well and headed clear. Now Norton high up and under, and again the ball headers into the middle. But it is going to be a free kick, much to the dismay of the travelling Clarendon corner. And that will be a free kick there for Kingston.
Yeah, well, there's an idea for you, Brandon. NPL clubs with their own E-League representatives. I'm sure you'll be definitely putting out an expression of interest, maybe even for the South Melbourne gig for that one, if that ever manages to get up. But, of course, you know, who knows with the way Victorian football is going. Of course, 2 years ago it was such a big moment when we finally had fourth officials on the pitch as well, but now we've got live streaming. Who knows what the next 2 years holds for us?
Well, I will say I was fancying myself getting back into it over the weekend, but a few losses tonight have certainly hit me right back to where I belong, and hence why we're here calling some football rather than playing it on PlayStation. Now it's a chance here for South to get the ball forward as Strone looks to play that ball out to the right, but right to the left rather. But again, comfortably intercepted by Bennett, who looks into the channel, but Kniggley is not going to get to that. And again, Reganovic just picks it up and hoofs that ball high and wide with great accuracy, to be fair. And Cruceratis has done really well to roll his man and keep that ball in play. Oh, no, he hasn't, but it will be a South Melbourne free kick. So one last chance here, potentially, as we get ourselves into the last minute of normal time. It's going to be a throw-in here for South Melbourne. Now it's Gage on the ball, who has the likes of Konstantinidis in the middle. He goes towards him! Oh, it's a fantastic save from Cavaliere there. Billy Konstantinidis got himself clear, and well, he certainly got some purchase on the header. It was going right into the bottom corner. But that time, the goalkeeper has denied him, pulling up trumps with a massive save.
Yeah, it's a fantastic save from Cavaliere there to deny Gage's ball from being Konstantinidis' goal there. Fantastic ball into the box from Gage, and I think Konstantinidis just didn't have the right contact.
Ball into the box again was dangerous, and that time it has gone out for a goal kick despite the heavy cries from the South Melbourne players. You can still see Konstantinidis just wondering how on earth that ball didn't find the back of the net. And as we are into stoppage time now, such an important moment to make a save there. The last thing you want to do is concede right on the break, and that is half-time. And, well, a huge moment there at the end of the first period. And I'm sure Nick Tolios, the first person who's going to go across and give a pat on the back to is Cavaliere. What a save.
Yeah, it's a fantastic save from Cavaliere. 2 fantastic saves to deny Konstantinidis in this first half. Overall, Kingston have been the better team. They've had the better chances. Maybe it should have gone two goals to the good, but it wasn't to be, and I think that they'll be thanking their goalkeeper for ensuring that their lead is intact. If you're Nick Tolios, you'll be really pushing your side to get a second in that second half, to get a 2-goal buffer. As we pause for a half-time interval here, of course, Brandon, we will also be joined in the second half by Rowan McNamee, the former Kingston City player and current Box Hill United attacker, who will be joining us in the commentary booth once more. So until then, we'll see you in the second half, guys.
We are underway here in the second half of the Grange Reserve. Kingston City leading by 1-0 against South Melbourne. And, well, a huge second half to come for both of these sides in their early seasons. And, well, as mentioned by Demir Kulash, of course, with you, your commentator Brandon Galgano, we have had a third party join, and it is in the frame of Box Hill striker and former Kingston City man Rowan McNamee. Rowan, did I get the pronunciation of that right? Because I know in the first half that there's been some issues on the stream. I have been practicing over this last 10 minutes or so, but did I get that one right, Rose?
You did get that right. My name's actually not that easy to pronounce for some, but you've done pretty well there, unlike your performance in the first half.
Well, hopefully Big Teo will give me a gig next week, but in the meantime, it is a chance to Zved on the ball and just got a little bit of a block there, so will be a throw-in for Kingston City. And now an opportunity here for them to get onto the ball. And while we saw in that first half, Rowan, and I'm sure you'd be well akin to Nick Tolios and his style of coaching, again, Kingston coming out all guns blazing. Or in the meantime, actually, we'll return to play because that was a decent little run into the box, but it has been shut down. Kingston started off really well and were really positive, very direct and quite dangerous in the final third. But we just maybe did see that lull we saw last week in the intensity. What can he do and what can they do to maintain that level of performance in the second half?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned in the first half, Tolsey loves his teams going out wide and attacking the fullbacks. I think Tolsey was saying more of the same, just to pick up from that lull, trying to get it to Cornelia and Zwed to really attack those fullbacks and create more chances from out wide, get it into Damo's feet in the middle where he does damage.
Well, South Melbourne do win the ball back, and now a chance for Stratometros to come forward. Now it's Lambropoulos. Had a tough time out there in the first period, and that time he's almost fed the ball to Chris Irwin. Couldn't quite get under control. Now it's Ethan Gage twisting and turning, and again, one thing that South will really be looking to do is try and get the likes of Gage and Stratometros actually facing forward and penetrating, because the one chance they did create was through the middle and finding feet. But again, that one there given away, and well, that's been a bit of an issue in that first period, and now we do see South Melbourne throw in Demir. And we'll go across to South Melbourne now because we did speak about Kingston and how positively they started. But South Melbourne did show some glimpses towards the end of that first half, and especially getting Konstantinidis in dangerous areas. They've just got to try and find his feet, don't they?
Yeah, they do, of course. Konstantinidis coming in for his first start. Might take a half or so to really find his feet, find that fluidity with his teammates. But if, South are looking for a source of goals in the second half, I'm sure they'll be lumping more balls into him because he does have an aerial presence to him.
Well, there will be a throw in here and a chance now for South Melbourne to try and get the ball forward. Marafiotti gets across, and now it's Konstantinidis who looks up and again doesn't really have much in between the lines, and that's been a story of South Melbourne's night when trying to get forward in possession. That ball forward there tries to find Chris Aradis, and again, just the ball into the channel's not helping, and you just got to think maybe a little bit more movement in front of the ball and maybe getting Schroen and Konstantinidis up top to try and get a bit more rotation, because at the moment they're really struggling to find that ability to break the lines in possession. That ball does go out for a goal kick.
I must say it's another fantastic crowd in here at the Grange Reserve tonight. I'd say it's well over four figures once more. So we did see on Friday night the Croatian derby between Dandy City and Melbourne Knights attract a similar crowd, and also on Saturday in NPL 2 with the first ever NPL derby between North Geelong Warriors and Geelong Soccer Club attract a crowd of 1,500 from all accounts. So good to see a multicultural round embraced, and as we see South get a bit agitated with Cavalieri's perceived time wasting there.
Now it's Caniglia getting the ball forward down this right-hand side. That's a good challenge there from Stratometros, and he's brought down there. And out of a bit of frustration, Caniglia is shown a yellow card. So Stratometros just onto the turf there, and well, maybe a bit of frustration there. But South Melbourne again looking to restart play, and they have a defensive midfielder. Stratometros finds Konstantinidis. Now, has that ball gone live yet? Doesn't look like so. Stratometros, who initially looked like he played the ball, has just put his hand up to Iaconis and said that we haven't quite started just yet, son. Pumps that ball forward high and wide, and Marafiotti looking to get himself under it. Got a fair old push there from Hadžić, and Ball goes all the way back in there to Ethan Gage, who again has just been zipping in and out between the midfield and the back four, but hasn't really been able to penetrate when in possession. And again now it's Marshall, who just looks up long towards Konstantinidis. Into his back was Mullins. Schrone with a strong challenge there, and Schrone still trying to bustle his way through. Lambropoulos coming in with a attempt to win the ball. It does go out for a throw, and now will be a chance for South.
Just want to say how great it is to see Ryan Love back out here in the starting lineup for Kingston. I'm not sure if you guys mentioned that earlier, but he's had some serious injuries, and really, really happy to see him, winning a challenge there.
The ball into the middle there, and it, well, cries for a handball. Some serious cries at that, but not given. And it will be a corner kick here. And a chance now for South Melbourne, as we've just seen the Clarendon corner move themselves to behind the goals. Quite a standard display of movement pattern there.
Yeah, I've actually just noticed that, because in previous seasons that's been the Kingston corner right there behind the goals, with a lot of the Kingston juniors putting the opposition goalkeeper under a lot of pressure.
Been in that position many times myself, and that ball over the top has gone out. Or has it? Well kept alive there in the end by Marafiotti. Now goes back to Norton, who tried to whip a ball in but was blocked, and you can just see the work rate there from Kim trying to get across, but Gage gets it out his feet and strikes, and it was a difficult one to deal with from Cavalieri, who in the end did quite well to adjust his body shape, because that ball was moving, and in the end it does go out for a throw. And you can just see there again, when South do get the likes of Ethan Gage in an advanced position, it does give them more of that dangerous element, especially when getting the ball into the final third.
Yeah, most definitely, and Ethan Gage is really the one player that you look at South Melbourne's midfield and you expect him to stand up, because he is a 11-time Canada under-20 international with previous experience at both the Vancouver Whitecaps and also Reading in England. So he was definitely one of South's star signings over the summer.
Dangerous bit of movement there from Irwin, but the ball's blocked quite well. And now a chance here for Lambropoulos to get his head up and, again, pumps the ball long and out for a throw. You've got to say, I have been a little bit disappointed with South Melbourne's movement on the ball. When they are getting it, they're just either looking for a central midfield option who's not really looking to play forwards, and then bouncing it back to the fullbacks and just looking to hit the channels pretty much every time. And, again, it is making it difficult to have any periods of sustained possession. As now it's Kingston on the ball again, and Yakonis holding it up quite well that time, but it does go out for a throw. As we tick ourselves into the 50th minute here.
So I've got a question for you, Brandon. We did see the South Melbourne fans and players alike remonstrating to the referee a few moments ago at Cavalieri's perceived time wasting. What's the earliest as a goalkeeper that you've tried to run down the clock?
Well, I guess it just does depend on the circumstances of the game, but I certainly think it is a little bit too early to be winding the clock down. But there are times where you do want to just disrupt the pattern of play, especially if a side is looking and starting off quite well, and that's more what he would have been looking to do.
Yeah, and for an alert for all referees that end up doing a game in which Brandon Galgano is a goalkeeper over the season, watch out for that time wasting.
Well, fortunately, Brandon Galgano isn't quite getting the gloves on anytime soon, now that he's managing down at Hampton East Brighton. I think that's what you were going to say, Rowan, or was it something along those lines?
I was just going to point out Nick Stamatelos is walking in front of me, of course, Kingston 400-game legend. Just a shout out to him, who actually scored a 30-yard volley the other day in the FFA Cup. Unfortunately, they went down to Beaumaris, though.
Of course, now playing at Malvern City, the former Kingston City man. There's now it's a chance here for Chris Irwin, who cuts himself back onto his right. And just held up there well by the wall of the South Melbourne defence. And ball goes back into Yancello, who goes back into Mullins. And now all the way outside to Bennett, who gets that ball under control quite well. Now looks to drive inside Konstantinidis, he's done well to keep the ball too. And Kim slips in, great ball, Bennett with a chance! Oh, and a good save there from Roganovic, who has been followed through there as well. And well, some great overlapping play from the fullback in Bennett, and Roganovic had to be brave, and he certainly did himself well there, putting his body on the line, and the veteran does look to be in a bit of pain. Great chance for Kingston.
Yeah, Daniel Bennett's first touch, just getting away from him there. Sometimes we see our fullbacks who like to go forward, like Bennett, get in positions like that. He'll be replaying that one in his head later, I think.
Well, a great opportunity there. Reganovic is still down in a fair bit of pain. There was a fair follow-through there, but he had to make that save. Again, we spoke about important moments in that first half, and probably two of the most iconic ones, other than the goal from Iaconis, were goalkeepers making some really important saves. And as we said at the end of that first half, it was Cavalieri. Before that, it was Nikola Reganovic in a one-on-one with Iaconis, who almost doubled their lead. So, again, Kingston maybe spewing there that they haven't taken that opportunity. As we just wait for this delay in time, as we'll go through the benches again, as we're seeing some comments come through, and one from another former teammate of mine in Lloyd Clothier, who again is professing that I try and sign another player in Rowan McNamee next to me. I know you're doing well at Box Hill at the moment, Rowan, but there are some decent ex-NPL players down at Hampton East Brighton, so if you're happy to come fight through the reserves, mate, we might be able to give you a game.
Yeah, I have heard that the East Brighton team is about as difficult to get into as any side in Victoria, so I think I'll stay as far away as possible from you boys. Although I do like getting my face on social media, and Brandon obviously being the coach, CEO, president, social media manager of East Brighton, if you can promise me plenty of airtime, I might consider it.
Now, I have heard a lot of talk that East Brighton are the PSG of State League 4, Brandon. Given all the summer signings and all the transfer activity, I mean, what are you guys doing to get that level of players down to State League 4? Because it's not the most attractive of leagues, that's for sure.
I think there's just a lot of boys who just want to have some fun and enjoy some football again. But certainly has been an interesting few years down in the lower leagues, and another one starting up this weekend for all the community club sides, actually. Round 1 does begin on Saturday, Friday. Hopefully we will see some success down in the southeast. But a long ball over the top. Now that ball cleared away. Headed clear by Stratomitros, and now Konstantinidis underneath that. It's a good flick forward again. Marafiotti just trying to scuffle onto that, but again, flicked on and away. So now Christian Konstantinidis on it, and he goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Reganovic, who will hold that up and get it across again. And now Marshall. You can just see here again, very static in front of the ball, South Melbourne. Really making it difficult to break the lines, and Kingston just setting up a sort of three-quarter press, who not allowing themselves to be broken through, but Norton that time again given away. And Ron, I know it's something that Tolsey likes, and he likes to make sure that defensively, covering the gaps in midfield and press onto the fullback, and you're seeing it really effective here in the second half. South are really struggling to break through on the ball.
Yeah, and
sorry, we're
dangerous moment
box there. A good bit of defending that time by Mullins and cleared away.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Kingston sit back even more as this game goes on, as South get more desperate. I mean, as we know, South Melbourne, I think they would have been going into this game with the mindset of nothing less than 3 points. So as South become more desperate, we're going to see Kingston sit off and really use the wings on the counter.
Yeah, and I was just about to ask you, Rowan, do you think that is a sort of a dangerous strategy for Kingston to employ? Because I think that if they really put a lot of pressure on that South Melbourne defence, and if they really have the attacking ascendancy, they need to get that second goal, because they don't want to be leaving themselves, coming into the last 5-10 minutes still 1-0 up, and with South Melbourne marauding players down forward in search for an equaliser like last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it's a very dangerous tactic to start, parking the bus this early in the game. I don't think that's what Kingston are doing, and I don't think that's what they will do. I mean, we've already seen Bennett have one of the best chances of the game just there. And, yeah, Kingston are going to want to keep creating chances, but as this game goes on, I think we'll see them sit further and further and further back.
Well, the old adage, attack is the best form of defence, and it's certainly something which is shared in this commentary team. And now it's Marafiotti who skips past a few and wins the free kick well. He was playing for it, but it is a good foul to win, and the yellow card is shown. Now, they've played it quickly, and the referee's going to bring this back because he wasn't watching, and Norton, in the meantime, has put that wide. And, well, it is a good opportunity here for South Melbourne. Now, the referee still remonstrating with Bennett. Now, was Bennett shown a second yellow there? I think that's what they're talking about. And he has been shown a second yellow card, so this is a huge moment here for Kingston. So It actually was Alex Caniglia, not Daniel Bennett, that fouled him, and Alex Caniglia has been sent off. So a massive turning point potentially in this game for Kingston City. And well, we saw the silly foul earlier and the silly yellow card, and it's certainly come back to bite Caniglia there.
It definitely has, and Cornelia won't be looking back at that moment with too much fondness. We have mentioned numerous times this year when we've been at the Grange that we do have the expert analysis of Kingston City goalkeeper coach Paul Harvey in the box, but tonight we're also pleased to have one of the best in the business when it comes to refereeing in Chris Bainbridge, of course, a former World Cup referee and also a respected assessor nowadays.
I'm sure Chris is going to back up his official on the ground there as being a justified second yellow. So now, an opportunity of danger. And there's Konstantinidis and Schrone standing over this. So Billy Konstantinidis, a huge moment. Schrone hits. Oh, and he's put that just wide. A fantastic set piece from Marcus Schrone. And another warning shot there for South Melbourne.
Something to think about if you're Contangalakis, as we see Jerry Salados warming up down at the other end of the park. I think given the numerical advantage that they do have at the moment, if you're Tangalakis, you could actually benefit from taking off a defender and putting in an extra attacker, someone like a Salados that can really open up space quite well to really cause the Kingston defence plenty of headaches over the next half an hour or so.
Well, it looks like Tolias has gone to a 4-3-2 with Yakonis and looks like out wide Zved playing as a sort of drifting in wide number 9 type of role, and Kim just playing in front of, well, with Yancello and Irwin as a number 10. So certainly still got some attacking threat, Kingston, but it will be more about some defensive structure here. And Siliardos, as he said, is certainly someone who can cause problems. I'd have to say, rather unfortunate to have missed out on selection. Did score the winner against Dandenong City a few weeks ago and was certainly looking like one of their more dangerous players in the lead up to a few recent defeats. And well, it'll be interesting to see what impact, if any, he does play tonight. Now it's Marafiotti who's backed into a corner, and Bennett wins the ball. Yakonis gets it in towards Zved, who does get the ball into the box, but that one goes out for a goal kick, and it will be a South Melbourne ball. .63 minutes gone here. Still 1-0 Kingston. Of course, South Melbourne now with the numerical advantage. Will we see some more positive football here from the boys in blue as Stratomitros comes forward. Looks high and long towards Konstantinidis, but again, just not able to get onto it. And well, Demir, we've mentioned it a few times, but when you've got the quality of players that South Melbourne have, the inability of them really to string any sort of attacking movement together has been a bit frustrating to watch. And I think that's something where, again, if you are Kontangalakis, you've probably got to be looking to get the likes of Marcus Schrone actually on the ball in the final third, because he's barely had it in dangerous areas. When he has looked dangerous, but he just hasn't been able to get near it.
Yeah, most definitely. And Marcus Schrone is a real highlights player. I mean, if you get the ball to him in a dangerous situation, he will produce something out of nothing for you. And it'll be interesting to see how South Melbourne respond to that numerical advantage, because
well, that is most certainly one of the chances that was begging for Kingston. And while some people might have thought that went in, it's just missed from Feda Hadzic. An absolute belter of a volley. And from this angle, it looked very, very close to being one of the goals of the season from the left back. Well, very, very unfortunate there for Kingston.
Yeah, time stood still there for a second as we all waited to see where that shot by Feda Hadzic was going to go. Ultimately, for Kingston, it just went off target. But, you know, look, we have mentioned earlier tonight that Kingston have looked quite dangerous.
Well, it is Schrone there who beats the first challenge, and a great covering tackle there from Mullins. And again, South Melbourne, you can just see a bit of a spark and an opportunity to maybe get themselves forward. Now it's Stratomitros. Looks up, pings the ball across the ground there to Cruceratis, who's taken a really good touch in the box. Nick Cruceratis cutting it back, but great interception there from Love. And again, South Melbourne looking dangerous.
I think it might have been Daniel Bennett in the end who was the Kingston player that got there just in time to clear it out for a corner kick. one thing I was about to say before that fair to Huggies chance, that South Melbourne did really struggle to break down Dandenong City in the round 2 of the season when they had a numerical advantage from the first half.
Ball whipped into the back post. We'll come back to that point in a second, Tamir, because it is an interesting one as it's flicked away there by the goalkeeper and now cleared up the line there by Zved. And what we're going to see now in this last 30 minutes or so, plenty of this. Kingston defending deep and just trying to get themselves across and contain. See plenty of numbers behind the ball. And is that a foul? No, says the referee. So an opportunity for Irwin. Flicks the ball past the oncoming challenge, but Marshall's got plenty of time and sets a bit of a task for Raganovic, but he just backtracks and in the end finds Marshall, who did really well to keep that ball alive. Does go back to his goalkeeper in the end, and he's got plenty of space to open up here and spread the ball. So Schroen's going to come across, it's Gage rather. He's going to come across and carry the ball forward. Looks up, hasn't really got much in front of him. Marafiotti back to Stratomitros. He goes to Cruceratis. Got options left and right. One of them is Schroen. Goes to him. Schroen turns, spreads the play now to Norton. Back into Gage. Good forward pass there to Marafiotti, who swivels and strikes and just puts the ball over the bar. And again, we spoke about it now and keeping the ball in higher areas of the ground, and that's something which South Melbourne are finally doing. You see the danger there, Rowan, getting the likes of Schroen and Gage closer to goal. That time was Marafiotti and wasn't that far away.
Yeah, the momentum certainly swung in favour of South Melbourne in the last 5 minutes since that red card. They really need to capitalise on it soon if they're going to come away here with 3 points. And as we were saying before, there was a possibility that Kingston were going to start sitting back. Now, obviously, that hand has sort of been played for them with only 10 men. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if Kingston can hold out.
Yeah, but then again, one of the things with the likes of Iaconis and Zwed, in attack, they do have plenty of pace going forward, and so even if they bring on someone like Cooper Legrand, they should fancy themselves on the counter. So if they can really resist all of South Melbourne's pressure and get the ball to those guys, I think that Nick Tolias will be definitely looking for them to actually do something going forward, as we see South Melbourne about to bring on Jerry Shalados.
Well, this will be interesting here. I think they're going to delay the substitution until after the set piece. So it's going to be Kim on the ball, and these are the opportunities which Kingston will really want to try and make the most out of. So Kim interestingly, I think was trying to shoot there, and in the end it's just rolled out for a goal kick. So there's going to be changes for both sides. The first one is going to be from Kingston City. Or rather, it's looking like it's going to be from South Melbourne. So it's going to be a Lambropoulos sacrifice, as you said, Demir. The defender off and a winger on. So Cyrilados is going to come on, and you'd think will go straight out onto the wing. So he does come on. As we said, scored the winner in that tight game against Dandenong City, where they were playing against a side with 10 for the majority of the game. Now, the other change made for Kingston is going to be Kim coming off. And it's going to be Keanu Moore to replace him, the former Bentley Greens man. So now an opportunity here for Kingston as we see a midfielder brought on for a midfielder. And Kim had a decent game in there, of course, getting the assist for the opener.
Yeah, like-for-like substitution from Nick Tolios. Kim, his first start of the season, I believe. I think that he's had a reasonable game. But overall, it'll be interesting to see how Keanu Moore goes, because he's another player that does have a bit of pace to him, a bit of trickery as well, and Tolios will definitely be looking for him to keep that midfield base solid there. Ultimately, I think for South Melbourne, it'll be interesting to see how bringing on Shalados does change things going forward, because as we've mentioned, they haven't been the most fluid going forward tonight.
Well, now it's Norton out on the left, and he's got plenty of time and space, and he looks to whip the ball in towards Konstantinidis, but couldn't quite find him. Second ball falls, an acrobatic clearance there, that time from Zved. Gage gets it down. Schroen under pressure there, gets it back to Gage, who just looks up, and again, South Melbourne now finally with numbers ahead of the ball and looking to create. Norton into Costa Stratomitros. Now Siliardos, bit of space in front of him. Siliardos strikes, and wasn't anywhere near the goal in the end. But again, some good bit of intent there from Siliardos. He looks like he's gone into a central position as well. So interesting to see. That time, just couldn't quite make Kingston pay.
Yeah, just didn't have the direction on the shot required there. Interesting, of course, keep the comments coming in over the course of the remainder of the half. But we have spent a bit of time talking about the state leagues over the course of this game. It's a good time to talk about it, given the fact that this week marks round 1 for it. We've had, of course, 5 rounds of NPL football to kick off the season. But if you are involved in a state league club, mention in the comments section, and also mention what your hopes are for the season, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of action in the state leagues with promotion and relegation in every league. It certainly creates a lot of headlines over the course of the winter.
Is that ball played forward? Yes, it is. A lot of the state league clubs, ourselves included, all starting up this week. It is an exciting time for Victorian football. And that, in the meantime, though, is going to be a free kick and a chance here for South Melbourne again. And we've just seen Kingston really just looking to compress, and the likes of Murad Zved doing plenty of defensive work at the moment. It was very dangerous going forward in that first half. But now again a chance for South Melbourne to potentially get this ball into the area. So it will be Schrone to take this free kick. Delivery is important here. It's not a bad one. Headed away. Up and air clearance there. It does fall to the feet of Marafiotti initially. He has somehow wrestled it back. Now potentially a chance to cross, twisting and turning, but some good defending then again from Kingston. As you can see, every single Kingston City player is behind the ball at the moment. Now goes back again. Gage. Cross to Norton. Doing plenty of attacking in this second half. Now Cruceratis. Looks up. Tries to cross. Blocked off again. Now Norton. Backhill into Siriados. Finds Gage. Bit of space to manoeuvre here, Ethan Gage, and he's going to load up a strike again, but nowhere near enough power to trouble Cavalieri. And again, he's just going to take his time and allow Kingston to get forward. And Demir, you just got to think, if they can just compress this space for another 10 or 15 minutes or so, they'll have a really good chance of getting themselves through this last half of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's been made a lot tougher with that sending off, but you know, you do also have to wonder whether there is, psychologically how they are they up for it, because, you know, we saw them last week. They were a bit laid back in that second half, and it was ultimately came back to haunt them. So I really think that these are the sort of circumstances that make a team, and there'll be a lot of character out of this performance if they can hold on.
So will be a throw. Norton just stepping up into the play here, and bit of movement in front of him. Konstantinidis back to Stratomitros here. Spreads the play well. Gage, bit of space for him again. Gets himself inside, but again, the ball cleared away. And Reganovic will recover possession. We are seeing a few comments coming through regarding, although we're going to stay with play. Reganovic giving it away. It's a chip there from Yakonis, and he just couldn't quite get the ball down. And well, if they'd taken that chance, and you can just see arms on heads on the Kingston bench, it was a difficult one, but it certainly was an opportunity for Kingston to shut this game down. Nikola Reganovic, well, we were talking about and singing his praise in the first half as to his experience and composure, some of the great saves he's made. That moment there would have been very hairy for South Melbourne. Now, that's a good ball in behind, potentially, but Cavalieri was out quickly. He's offside anyway, was Konstantinidis. Now, we are seeing some comments in here. And, well, a big rumour coming out of this one, Griffin McMaster, potential comeback game for Altona City. Scenes McMaster out of retirement, Rowan. Big news out in the state leagues.
Yeah, that would definitely be a big return. I think everyone would love to see him make a comeback in the state leagues. Certainly an active participant on social media as well, like yourself.
I'd say that Griff has much more of a social media presence than I do. His legendary Snapchat stories are certainly ones that I don't like to miss out on, Demir.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I'm sure there'll be a lot of commotion and a lot of scenes at Altona City this season. Of course, they'll be pleased to have recruited a A-League level, a former A-League level goalkeeper.
Oh, that ball given away there by Yakonis. Now Schrone trying to get that ball forward. Well, they do have a few key signings this year. Johnny Black, another one being from the NPL. Of course, spent a lot of time with the Oakley Cannons. Now that's a good ball, and Irwin's in behind him potentially. He hasn't got options either side of him really, and in the end the ball just got away with him, and enough for Gage to just nip in and get some contact on it. Now the ball played back to Roganovic, but sets Gage a task. Did well to get that ball down. And Norton again, under pressure, was cleaned up there after the play, but they're going to continue this because South Melbourne do need that equalising goal. Now, Schrone gets his head up and plays a really nice switch of play there towards Cruceratus. Now, he is able to keep it alive, and now Cruceratus, one-on-one with Fedahajic, gets himself in, and the cross deflected, so it is going to be a corner. And you're going to see there again, Marcus Schrone, the danger he possesses if he gets it facing forward. Really nice ball over the top, and Cruceratus again getting into a dangerous area.
Yeah, he is the danger man for South Melbourne, as we see both Jake Marshall and also Christian Constantinides going up for this corner kick.
The set piece delivered, whipped into the near post, headed away. Another chance for Schrone, whips it into the back post again this time. Constantinides up, but couldn't quite get it down. Now Siliados has done well to potentially win that back, and well, the second ball blocks, Stratomitros strikes, and Fedajic getting across, and pressure building slowly. South Melbourne again, just unlucky not to get a shot on target.
Yeah, no bias here, but I think Fedajic has been one of Kingston's best players tonight, if not the best. I think his defensive contribution has been outstanding, and he's also chipped in with that really good opportunity.
Schrone here on the corner, whips it in towards the middle, headed clear again. Kingston doing well to clear their lines. Norton gets it down, whips into the back post again, and again defensively Kingston just holding their own, and another throw for South Melbourne. Oh, it is going to be a corner rather. Right out there again, and Marcus Schrone, he'll need to get one of these right. Kingston with everyone back here. Schrone whips it in, headed clear, falls out to the edge of the box. Cruceratus just didn't quite sit for a volley, goes all the way back to Gage, who had to backtrack. A lot of players calling for the long ball over the top, but Kingston able to push out their lines, and now Roganovic on the ball, and Gage. Constantinides asking for the long one. Gage obliges. High and long. Constantinides gets it down under pressure from Mullins, and again, the ball hooved clear, and that one will bounce back for Gage, who's under some pressure, and he's done quite well to keep it alive. Now to Roganovic, and South Melbourne can get out.
Yeah, I have mentioned that I think Fedajic has been Kingston's best and my man of the match so far. He is up against his old club, as we mentioned in the first half, and the question I had for you two, as someone who hasn't played association football in a while, I was just wondering, what is it like when you are preparing to face your former club, leading into the game? I mean, tell us about that extra bit of motivation that you have as South Melbourne also are taking off Ethan Gage for what looks to be Zach Bates or Dean Beravescos. I think it's Zach Bates, the attacker. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, obviously it depends on your relationship, how you left the club. But either way, if they're your mates, you want to impress them and beat them. And if you're on bad terms with them, even more so. So that's just extra motivation for sure.
Interestingly, my own career, we actually didn't play against any of my former clubs in terms of a league game. So always is a bit of a strange one as we see this change being made, and it is Yancello coming off. And so Zvedov, rather. And Slimani has come on into central midfield. So Zved certainly put in a massive shift there defensively. Had a really impressive first half as well. We mentioned missed the whole of 2018 with an ACL injury. Now getting himself back to full fitness, and again certainly contributed tonight. Going down to 10 men has made it hard for all those Kingston attacking players, but again a great shift. Now South Melbourne on the ball, and Constantinides is angling a strike, but that one was nowhere near travelling the goalkeeper, who again confident on it. Cavalieri now rolls it out to Bennett, who looks forwards and looks for the run of Yakonis, and he might just get the ball over the top, but marshalled himself across well. Excuse the pun, and now it's a chance here for Roganovic. And Norton Marafiotti. Good little overlap there from Norton, but a great covering challenge there again from Mullins. And just see the pace of the game maybe just lowering a little bit. Marshall. Norton clips it into the middle. Konstantinidis gets it down, turns and strikes! Oh, and off the crossbar! Great opportunity again out for Cruceratis. Now Siriados. Cruceratis again into the area, but deflects back. Now it's Stratomitros. Half clearance. Bates off the bench. Looks up there for Norton. Now it's Konstantinidis again. Still reeling that somehow hasn't found the net. Great delivery again and headed clear. And while South Melbourne asking plenty of questions at the moment, now a chance here for Norton. Whips it in again to the back post. Forced to Shrone. Great touch from Marafiotti was rather. But that time, and I think a handball has been given. And well, what a strike that was from Konstantinidis, rattling the crossbar. What an opportunity for South Melbourne.
Yeah, South Melbourne pushing really hard to get that equaliser, and Konstantinidis couldn't have come closer with that shot. It had a fantastic power on it, just didn't have the direction as the ball bounced back off the crossbar and away from goal. They are getting close to South Melbourne, so if you're Nick Tolios, you must be worried.
Yeah, I think Kingston are really going to have to get a little bit better on the ball. I know they've got 10 minutes, very difficult, but the way it's going, it does appear as it's only a matter of time for South Melbourne. Of course, I may have just given them the curse with that statement.
I must say, Konstantinidis has really put himself out and about tonight. I think he's been much more of a presence than George Howard has been in the opening 4 rounds, and I think he's looked more natural in that number 9 role, whereas I think with George Howard, we're more accustomed to seeing him as a wide forward / winger.
Well, now the ball is out wide, and a chance here for Cruceratis again to go at his fullback, and that time wasn't quite on the same wavelength as Konstantinidis, who was making a driving run inside, and now just a bit of territory looking to be covered by Moore, who has done well to win the throw. And well, you have to say, of course, George Howard isn't naturally a number 9. He has played out wide for the majority of his career, but they probably would be a bit disappointed with his output in the first few games. Interestingly, not even on the bench tonight, so there may be something to suggest that it is an injury concern as well as maybe some form. But again, Kostra, the big man up front, Konstantinidis, has certainly put his weight around and has been really unlucky hitting the bar, forcing a great save from the goalkeeper as well. But now Kingston getting into the area and again looking to cause some problems, but South Melbourne with plenty of numbers back. And now this is what they'll want, a chance to attack Kingston when they have thrown a few numbers forward. And now an opportunity here for Cruceratis, rather. Bounces off Konstantinidis, but that time a good defensive challenge. And Kingston come forward here through Moore. Now there's an off-the-ball collision there with Cruceratis, who I think just gave him a push, and that's going to be a yellow card there for the winger. And again, a bit of frustration. And South Melbourne, they've got to make those chances on the break pay, and that time again, just unable to find the feet of the big man up top.
Yeah, and it's concerning. I mean, this isn't the first time that this season that they've struggled to break down a team while having a man advantage, as we mentioned earlier with that game in round 2 against Andy City, where it took until I think it was the 78th minute before a Jerry Shalados cross come shot ended up in the back of the net.
Well, there is an opportunity here out wide for Kingston and Moore, who's certainly done a bit of work since he's come off the bench. That time denied with the chance to get the ball into the area, but an opportunity here nonetheless to, again, put some pressure on South Melbourne. And, well, you can see here Kingston's mentality, because there's only one person in the box for this corner kick. The big man, Fedahajic, has been given the go-ahead to get himself into the box. But it is a chance here for Kingston, potentially. And looks like they're going to go short, because Fedahajic has now been called all the way back to halfway again. So the only person in the area is Chris Irwin. And a bit of smart time wasting there. In the end, somehow it's been given as a South Melbourne ball, though. So again, they'll look to come forward through Shrome, but once again, Moore working really hard back, and he's going to angle up a shot. Blocked there by Norton. Bates keeps it alive. Now he'll look to come forward. Hasn't really got much in front of him. Marafiotti cuts back in onto his left. Now gets it across to Norton. So Konstantinidis rather. Stratomitros. And that given away again there by South Melbourne. And again Kingston looking to throw numbers forward on the attack. Suleimani trying to get in behind Konstantinidis, but the experience of the defender was enough, and he found Reganovic, who goes to Marshall, and Kingston working really hard here to try and win this ball back, and a good press there from Bennett. And again, South Melbourne just denied the chance to even get the ball in their attacking half as Siviliados now. Great little change of pace there. Siviliados coming forward. He's got options out the right. Cruceratis being one of them. His touch has just let him down initially, but Cruceratis strikes! Oh, and just wide. I think it took a deflection on the way. And well, you've got to say, if Cruceratis had gotten that first control correct, he might just have opened himself up into a goal-scoring position there. In the end, he's done well to win a corner, though. And it is an opportunity here for South Melbourne. And Marcus Schroen whips the ball into the middle. It's dangerous, but wasn't quite able to find a man. And Irwin just happy to concede and find some ground. And well, again, Rowan, you being a striker yourself, they're the types of opportunities you've really got to take. A little bit of space opens up. His first touch just let him down there, Cruceratis.
Yeah, that first touch just bobbling up. He would have loved to just use that right foot and let it out in front of him to smack it across the keeper, but he did well to get a decent shot off. That deflection could have easily have just rolled in. But yeah, South Melbourne really going to want to convert one soon if they're going to have any chance of getting away with anything more than a draw.
Well, there is a final change being made by Kingston, so it looks like it's going to be Damien Yakonis, the goal scorer, who is coming off. He's just looked up and seen the board now, so he's going to be replaced by, well, I believe it's Erhan Yalaz, or is it Cooper Legrand? So Legrand initially on the team sheet had number 9, but they popped up there with 23. So either way, it's Legrand who comes on. So unfortunately for the commentators, when you change your numbers, we're in trouble.
Yeah, and Legrand, as was mentioned last week, is a Mauritian youth international, so a bit like Gage, he's got some international experience under his belt. But yeah, you do see that often with the wrong numbers being allocated on players. We did see a game on Saturday between Avondale and Pascoe where apparently Yusuf Ahmed forgot his shirt at home and had to wear a different numbered shirt on the field.
Very surprised if Yusuf Ahmed is bringing his own shirt to a game. That's something that even at State League 4 we're trying to clip on out, mostly because situations like that do occur. Most young footballers aren't exactly thinking that clearly most of the time. But that ball is poor from Norton, and in the end, again, very fortunate to get away with that, South Melbourne. And now Norton, who was brought down after the play, and he is going to get a free kick, and Keanu Moore is going to go into the book. So South Melbourne looking to get this underway quickly as we get ourselves into the last 3 minutes of normal time. Is there one last push here for South Melbourne? They're throwing numbers forward. Schroen is taken the set-piece duties off Marshall, and he's told his centre-back to get himself forward. In the process, Schroen's moved the ball about 10 metres forward. The referee's just turned and given him the old, come on, mate. In the end, Schroen still gained about 5 metres on it anyway. So he's going to take this set piece, and it's a poor one from Schroen. Siviliados. Marifiotti rather. Deflected and out for a throw.
Yeah, no, it might seem unorthodox for Tolsey to bring on a striker here, or substitute his striker, but I've no doubt that Tolsey would have said to Cooper Legrand to just absolutely work his ass off these last 5 minutes.
Oh, it's a good chance here. It's Konstantinidis! Oh, a great strike! And he's just put it over the bar. And, well, again, South Melbourne, those are the opportunities you've got to take. And Christian Konstantinidis that time getting a bit of space on the volley and firing just over the crossbar.
Yeah, we've seen Billy Konstantinidis have the bulk of South Melbourne's great chances tonight, but it was the other Konstantinidis this time, Christian, who is normally quite a threat when he gets himself into the goal area there, but just didn't have the right direction on it. It just went a bit too high as South Melbourne preparing to mount another attack here.
Well, that is going to be stopped because there's a little bit of afters going on. And I think it's Fedahagic and Marifiotti. Or is it Cruceratis? It does look like him, actually. So The referee is going to go and have a word to his linesman, who is directly in front of the play there, so I'll have a chat. But one thing I'm going to discuss with you, Demir, is the referee does look to get this game continued. South Melbourne, the second time this season, have struggled to break down a side with 10 men, and I think that does suggest that there are some issues in terms of moving the ball forward against an organised defence, because they're really struggling to break down a compact unit. And their only chances really in the second half have been through long balls and set pieces. Now that one is not being given by the referee, so it's a throw. Huge cries for a handball. And again, South Melbourne just throwing players forward into the box.
We've got 5 minutes of stoppage time has been added on here. So South Melbourne have 5 minutes to get something out of this game.
Ball flicked on, flicked back into the middle. This could be the moment for them, but again, comes across the face and cleared away. Now Leningrad one-on-one with his defender in Marshall, and he's going to back himself in this race here, but Marshall just does enough to get across, and Roganovic under some serious pressure there, but they play out well, South Melbourne, and maybe there's one last chance to get this forward here for South. Cruceradis out wide, whips the ball into the middle again dangerously, and again Mullen's doing well, and again getting the ball out to Fedorhajic, who's under some pressure, but twisted and turned, and in the end got it towards Leningrad, who just couldn't quite nip the ball past the oncoming defender. Now Marshall to Norton, who cuts in onto his right, Brad Norton, and finds Strone. Good little combination. Konstantinidis. Can he cross? He's got Silados going outside him. Silados there again. And now Konstantinidis. He's got time to whip this in. That's a great delivery! Oh, it's a fantastic save! A wonderful cross from Billy Konstantinidis, and Marcus Strone rose there at the back post, had all the time in the world, but the goalkeeper stood up strong and held the shot, and Kingston are away again.
Yeah, Billy Konstantinidis couldn't have hit a better cross in that moment there, and I think that Marcus Strone in the end will be extremely disappointed because he just didn't generate enough power on that header to trouble Cavalieri, who I think in the end had a more comfortable save than he might have been expecting.
Well, again, dangerous delivery into the box, but some good goalkeeping. Positioning was excellent for that one. And again, getting two hands to the ball and holding it in that situation, really important. Now the ball over the top there towards Leningrad, who under some pressure there from Norton, who just did enough to make sure that ball went out of play. And South Melbourne now on the ball. Roganovic finds Strone. Long ball forward, Marshall, Konstantinidis. Great play from Cruceradis. Konstantinidis now getting forward. He's challenged really well, though, by Mullins, who's just been absolutely fantastic on the big man today. And again, South Melbourne looking to foray forward. We're 3 minutes into this, 5 minutes of allotted injury time here, and there will be another throw.
We've, showered the praises of Aydin Fedorhajic on a couple of occasions tonight, but I think Michael Mullins, the fact that he's a youngster and he's put in such a tremendous performance at the heart of Kingston's defence is also noteworthy.
Sivilados here on the edge of the box. Holds it up, flicks it over the top. That's a good little flick as well, but Cavalieri was strong again off his line. And he'll milk this as much as he can. Plays it high and long forward. That ball will bounce all the way through to Roganovic, who is out to the edge of his area. And put this on the ground and look to restart play straight away. Kingston City, how important will this be to hold on to this result? They were in this position last week. They've held 4 extra minutes after conceding that 88th minute equaliser against Oakley last time round. Is there a bit of danger here? Strone couldn't get under control. Siviliados there. Out to Cruceradis now. Is this the moment? Into the box. Cleared away. Stratomitros. Now Marafiotti clips it into the back post. Oh, it's a great save again from Cavalieri. An absolutely massive stop from the Kingston City goalkeeper. And he might well have just saved him side the points there. Wonderful delivery, and Marcus Strone again at the back stick. Couldn't quite put the header on target, or rather he did, but a great save from the goalkeeper.
Huge from Cavalieri there. South Melbourne prepare to take another corner in search of this equaliser.
Ball whipped in, high and long to the back post. Norton with time, flicks it in, across, it falls, it's a scramble, and the goalkeeper holds again. Penalty appeals weaved away, and Cavalieri will release Irwin here. Couldn't quite find him, and now he's just telling his side to push on high. It's cleared away. We are now into the 5th minute, and the full-time whistle has sounded. Kingston City with a massive 3 points here. And they all go across to their goalkeeper, Nate Cavalieri. 2 outstanding saves in the last 4 minutes of this game has guaranteed Kingston go away with the 3 points. A massive moment, and well, just how important might those 2 saves be in the context of this season?
Massive. Obviously, first win of the campaign, so I'm sure they'll be delighted. It might have come a few rounds it might have been a bit overdue, but overall, I think Kingston deserved the 3 points tonight, despite that late avalanche of chances from South Melbourne, who just didn't have enough potency in front of goal to ultimately beat an inspired Cavalier in goal, who was outstanding, as was the entire Kingston defensive performance. I think, hats off to the likes of Ryan Love. What a comeback game from him, and what a performance. Michael Mullins himself, a youngster, mature performance from him. Aydin Fedahagic, I think, would now come close to man of the match alongside Cavalier, and also Bennett had a number of tremendous interceptions as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a credit to the depth of Tolzi's squad there, because with Jovanovic and Safa both being out for this one, their younger defenders have had to step up, and they've done really well. It really just wasn't South Melbourne's night in front of goals. I mean, they hit the crossbar, a few incredible saves from the goalkeeper. They're really going to be disappointed to not come away with anything from that.
Well, I think they're going to be cursing their luck. I mean, it wasn't their night to be ultimately, but there's still a lot of question marks about South Melbourne. I think in transition they are a team that struggles. They did struggle with movement for large parts of that game, and I think ultimately a Kingston home win, despite the man advantage that they did have towards the end of that second half, is fully deserved. I must say, Teo Pellissieri was giving me some grief when I called Kingston win on Friday night, saying that I would be bombarded by South Twitter by tipping against them, but ultimately I was proven right.
You've got to say, Demir, and we will look to wrap this up, South Melbourne for the second time this season, and Kingston played with the 10 men for the majority of that second half, really struggled to break them down, and I think it does suggest, and we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, their inability to move the ball in between the lines and actually have some sort of possession in the final third really hurt them. And it was too little too late when they finally got that ball into the box and created chances. But you've got to say now, South Melbourne certainly will be needing to get some results on the board, and with some tough games coming up, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, one of the things in South's favour always is that their starts to the campaign are generally tricky because of the fact that there is a Grand Prix, which limits the amount of home games that they have early on in the campaign. So I think in the next few weeks, with a whole bunch of home fixtures, they'll be delighted to get back to Lakeside Stadium and hopefully really make it a fortress this season, because I think that's one of the things that last year, for most parts of the season, apart from their little revival midway through the campaign that they did have initially under Tangalakis, I think that they failed to do so. So they'll be definitely looking to right that wrong in 2019.
That is all from us here at the grand night. A massive result for Kingston City. 1-0 in the end. Damien Yaconis scoring the winner. And, well, Nate Cavalieri has certainly folked himself into Kingston folklore there. A fantastic few saves at the end of the game. That's all from us in the commentary box tonight between myself, Brandon Galgano, Demir Kulash and Rowan McNamee. Demir, thanks for your time again tonight.
No worries, and thanks once again to our viewers for having us.
Thanks, boys.
We'll see you soon.